Maran is our communications manager and does an excellent job. She was responsible for organizing today's Conservation Lands workshop. And so she's going to be talking about a new initiative, our Citizens Academy.
So just the 2-minute explanation of the Charlotte Harbor National Estuary Program. There are 28 estuaries of national significance within the National Estuary Program. There's 4 in Florida with, and probably all of you know this, but there's the Charlotte Harbor, Sarasota Bay, and Tampa Bay side by side, and we're unique in that way. And there's one in the Indian River Lagoon. We're guided by committees, our Policy, Management, Technical Advisory, and Citizens Advisory Committee. And for those who serve on committees, would you raise your hands? Okay. So for everybody else who's not on a committee, if you'd like to learn more about participating, talk to those people who raise their hands, and they could give you some firsthand experience. We meet 4 times a year, when we try to make the meetings very informative and fun sometimes. And those are the people who guide the work of our program. We are guided by a plan called the Comprehensive Conservation and Management Plan, and lots of the materials that we have created are on that back table. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and pick up your copies. There's 2 versions. There's the big version, which is the updated plan. It's the pretty spiral-bound version. And then there's a summary that's also available. The 2 other documents that guide our program. One is an annual work plan that talks about the budget and our annual priorities. And that's the strategic communication plan, which provides additional guidance for our outreach work. So the 2 things from the strategic communication plan that I think are important is that we really stress that we're a partnership program. The Charlotte Harbor National Estuary Program is not the 4 people who sit in the office at 1926 Victoria. It's all of you. And our geographic areas from Venice to Benny Springs to Winter Haven. We focus on 4 issues: habitat loss, water quality, water flow, and stewardship. The other thing is that we recognize that you can't protect the water unless you protect the land that drains into it. And because of that, we do cover the watershed. A few of our outreach projects could be categorized in 3 different, placed in 3 different categories. We like to support our program, our partners rather, and we do that through grants. And thanks to the CAC Grants Committee for meeting yesterday and selecting 10 of the applications that were received for funding this year. We also offer microgrants, which many of you have received. How about a raise of hands if you have gotten a grant from us? It's a pretty easy process, so if you are interested in getting that kind of support, talk to the people who have their hands raised. We do networking programs, such as this today, in our environmental education program. One of our new programs is something we're calling the Student Advisory Council. And we had our inaugural meeting at Ding Darling last Friday. Thank you, Tony and Wendy, for making that happen. And we had 2 counties represented with about 60, I think it was 50 high school students. So not only do they learn more about the environment through that experience, but we're asking them for their guidance on how we could do a better job reaching their peers. And we task them with reaching their peers themselves. They came up with some really great ideas, and so I'm looking forward to what they do and also expanding that program. The other thing is we offer a lot of trainings, and the next one's going to be in December on project design and evaluation. And if you were interested in what Liz was talking about, you're probably interested in that workshop because it's a 2-day training on basically logic models, and a lot of the granting agencies now require you to follow a logic model in submitting your application. The second category is sort of staying in touch with the public. We have our Harbor Happenings Quarterly magazine, 16 pages, our website and videos, and then we have specific projects for target audiences, including our Adventures in the Charlotte Harbor Watershed, which is our book that we give out through the 7 school districts, and they give them to 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade students. We have science fair students that we recognize. We have our calendar of donated items. We're celebrating our 10th calendar, which is about ready to go to the printer. And so we now have this huge inventory of really wonderful images. And most of them are photographs, but paintings, some are paintings too. And thanks to the capable assistance of Carly Rose, we will soon have a lot of those images available using social media. And our first ever entree into the creative side of the songwriting was this year. And we have a little bit of work with that. So if you know some songwriters, we definitely would like your help. We got 16 entries, and the CEC opted to recognize 4 of them. And we'll be using those songs in a couple different places. So our magazine, Harbor Happenings, this is one of the images that was donated for the calendar. Excuse me. But this is a document that talks about your progress. And so I would really like you to tell me about what it is that you're doing so we could highlight it in Harbor Happenings and promote future programs. A couple years ago, we commissioned Doug McGregor to start doing some political cartoons. And so most of the issues now include a political cartoon, and this is the one that will be in the fall issue. And our new effort is what we're calling a Citizens Academy. It's an e-learning site. You know, we don't own property. We support you, and most of you own property and manage property. So how do we further people's awareness and education and action on environmental issues without owning property ourselves? And so we're creating this e-learning site, which is also sort of a catch-all for everything social media. The first thing that we've done is we've developed with WGCU a series of videos. So we have 15 videos available at this point. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks. And there's several people here today that were very gracious and allowed us to interview them for those videos. And I got the final copy yesterday morning, so they'll soon be getting an email message from me so they could see themselves on camera. There are a few topics that we've missed, and so we're going to be doing another round of videos for that. And really what I want to do now is ask you for your guidance. So I've talked to you about other things that we've done to help the public understand, specifically Harbor Happenings, but the Citizens Academy will be our new tool to help people understand the issues of concern. So this is one of the videos that we did with John Ryan, who's one of your speakers this afternoon. I'm not sure he's here yet. So now you all can recognize him. So as we look at this beautiful picture, this painting that was commissioned by the CHNEP when the program first started, I'd like for you to think about one place in the CHNEP study area from Venice to Bonita Springs to Winter Haven that you think is of significance environmentally, or because of its beauty, or because of its recreational value. And while you're thinking about that, at the end of each table is a few pieces of paper. If you could share those with the other people in your row of seats. And at the end of the day, or end of the morning, what I'd like to do is just go ahead and gather those up, and so once you're done, go ahead and pass them to your left, and I'll pick them up later. And you'll have opportunities to talk to me personally, of course, but also through the Survey Monkey, I'll ask you some of these questions too. So do you have that one spot in mind, a place that you think the world would be a far worse place if it no longer existed? And now I want you just to write down a few things, just on one side of the paper, and write so I can read it, please. What it is about that place that you think is so significant. You know, this is just a brainstorming session. We're only going to take a minute or so for you to write it down. And the input that we get from you today will really help guide some of the outreach work that we do, and hopefully you'll see it in future issues of Harbor Happenings and some of our other projects. So once you're done writing, turn your sheet over and write down a couple of the things that you think threaten that environment, and also solutions to avoiding that threat or those threats. And if you could, kind of restrict your thinking to outreach projects, I'd appreciate it. But it doesn't have to be just outreach. Think about the things that would threaten that spot that you identified in your mind, and then solutions to avoiding those or fixing those threats. You know, there's nothing that we do that's not without the benefit of our partners, and one of the other examples is the posters that we created. When we expanded Harbor Happenings to 16 pages, we started dedicating the 2 center pages to a poster, 11 by 17 inch poster. And we were able to commission the creation of two, one on estuaries and one on watersheds. And those posters were the product of several people who were willing to provide some guidance to me and actually evaluated the drafts as they were developed, so thank you very much. So we now have those 11 by 17-inch posters, and they're created in a way that you could actually print them out very large. That's one of the challenges, how to provide printed documents, and so we probably will not be making those available in large format, but we'll give you the PDF so that you could print it out in large format. So you could keep on writing, or if you feel like you're done, you go ahead and pass it to the end of the table, and I'll pick those up as we break for lunch. So with that, thank you very much. I appreciate your input.
Thank you so much, Maran.